Welcome back. In this video, I want to talk about the Sedona Method, a personal development tool that I've been using since 2008. And it's allowed me to go from, oh, poor me, growing up with divorced parents and alcoholics and abuse in the family, to being, I create my life, owning a business and, developing as a person. When I started the Sedona Method in 2008, I was 20 at the time, and I found it super useful to get past some problems that I had in the past. You see, growing up, we look at our parents like they are gods. They clothe us, they feed us, they tell us how the world works, essentially. So naturally, we're going to pick up on their beliefs. We're going to pick up on their interests. We're going to pick up, and you might be similar to them, or you might be completely different from them. There's usually just the two sides of the spectrum. You're either like your mom or dad or whoever, or you're exactly the opposite. And with the Sedona Method anyways, it helps you realize which of those paradigms, which of those beliefs, which of those things aren't serving you, and then which ones are, so you can develop those. As an example, when my wife's dad, who wasn't my father-in-law at the time, was working with me to put some new things into the home, one of the things we did is we found a shower head. We went to the hardware store to get a shower head. Okay, simple, right? Shower head sprays water on you, right? And when we went over there, it took him a little bit to figure out what he wanted to buy. And I mean, I knew which one I wanted right away. It was the cheapest one that was gonna spray water and bathe me. Well, he was looking at the packaging and seeing what it did and figuring out kind of what he liked. And so he ended up settling on this one that had like a detachable wand that you could spray yourself off with. So that made me think a little bit differently about quality, I guess, and in terms of features and such, because just think about it. Either one's gonna work, you're gonna get clean. So the outcome's the same. However, with the shower head only, it's gonna wash your body. With the shower head detachable, you're gonna be able to get in those hard to reach places, without me going into detail there. So it has definite benefits. So just seeing that is a good example about, well, when he was raised or when he started making choices out of his own, he looked more at like features and more of the quality and more of that kind of stuff. Whereas me, it was, we don't have a lot of money, we're just gonna buy the cheapest thing. So that's a perfect example of something that you grew up with in your life, and it may or may not be serving you. So that was the beauty of learning the Sedona Method in 2008, is that I had a tool now where I could work through some of my not so great stuff in the past, and I could get through those issues and essentially uncover my unlimited beingness and my intuitive reasoning and all that, because we're all unlimited beings. If you want to do something, you just gotta decide, essentially. It's really just a choice. It may take you 10 years, 30 years, but it's just a choice, really. And then the steps come along. So by using the Sedona Method, I was able to essentially make better decisions, eliminate limiting beliefs that didn't serve me. Another way for me to describe it is it's like your cell phone. If you look at your cell phone and you haven't closed any of your apps, you may have Facebook open and Instagram and messaging and maybe your notepad, maybe a browser, and all that open at once takes your RAM of your phone and essentially slows it way down. So in life, this would be like, oh man, that cashier was a jerk, and my boyfriend didn't give me the present I wanted. The hotel didn't have free breakfast. All that kind of stuff. And if you still have a charge against that, it's going to take up mental RAM. So it's going to take up RAM, and it's useless essentially, because what good does it do you to hold that grudge or hold that thought or whatever with something that happened yesterday, with something that happened this week? And it compounds when it's that friend you haven't talked to for 6 months, or your parent embarrassed you when you were at basketball and they said, put all your weight into it, and you were a chunky kid. Whatever. I'm just making up examples here. So that all takes in to your mental RAM. And essentially, you can clear that by simply asking questions with the Sedona method. So in the next video, I'll just talk about what some of those questions are and use another analogy there to kind of make it a little more understandable.